Hi friends, it's time to read our text evidence reading where we're answering some questions as well. This topic is Earth and Space, and our title is Night and Day, and it's written by Hilary Maybaum. What I like about this picture is you can see it's split in the middle, and look, on one side we can say daytime, and one side is nighttime. So I'm predicting that this is going to be talking about the difference between night and day. Let's find out. Pictures to think about. Go ahead and say out loud, what do you think this is? You're right, it's a telescope. What about this picture? Oh, that's like looking up at the sun, isn't it? And this picture here. Ooh, shooting stars, maybe? Comets, maybe? Night and Day by Hilary Maybaum. Oh, that looks to me like a picture of the sun. Looking at the sun shining down on Earth. This looks like a picture of the moon, which only comes out at night, right? And the moon in the sky. Let's look at our table of contents. Words to think about on page 2. The introduction is on page 4. Chapter 1. What can we see in the sky at night? That's on page 6. Chapter 2. What can we see in the sky during the day? Page 10. Chapter 3. Why do we have night and day? Well, that's a good question. I like how it has that question mark. That's how we know, too, that it's kind of science, because in science we ask lots of questions. That's on page 12. Our conclusion, which we know is the ending, sums up our story at the end. That's on page 14. And the glossary and index. And we know that the glossary has definitions for the words in this book that might be hard for us, and we might need to learn what those words mean. And the index tells us by subject where we can find information. And that's on page 16. Let's look at some words to think about. This word is earth. Oh, that's also one of our high frequency words this week. Earth has land, water, and clouds. We've also talked about why we put commas in between words like this, and that's because they're making a list. What does Earth have? It has land, comma, water, comma, and before the third item, you put and then we list our last item, which is clouds. All right, our next word is moon. Look at those pictures of Earth and moon. On some nights, the moon looks like a bright circle. Only on some nights, huh? This next word is planet. Earth is the planet on which we live. So very true. We have lots of planets. All right, rotate. So this word right here is a verb. Rotate means it's going to spin. This is like a toy top. This toy can rotate or spin. So the word spin means about the same thing as rotate. They're what we call synonyms for each other. They mean about the same thing. Here's another word, stars. Stars look like tiny points of light in the sky. And sun. We get light from the sun. All right, here's our introduction. Oh, I can definitely see nighttime versus daytime. There's our words, night and day. Look up at the sky. What do you see? If the sky is dark, then it is night. If the sky is bright, then it is day. Have you ever wondered why we have night and day? Well, that's a good question to think about. You will find out as you read this book. Oh, so that's what this book is going to teach us. Oh, all right. What can we see in the sky at night? We often see the moon at night. The moon is a round, rocky object that moves around Earth. Oh, wow, that was one important sentence right there, that the moon is round, it's a rocky object, and that it moves around Earth. As the moon travels around Earth, the moon appears in different places in the sky. The moon seems to change shape each night. All right, so we remember talking about this footprint and the men on the moon. Here's our little caption for that picture. Moonwalks. 12 astronauts walked on the surface of the moon from 1969 to 1972. Their footprints are still there. Pretty cool. We can use a telescope to look more closely at the moon. Here's the telescope, and on the telescope you can see some of those. These are called craters, big indentions, craters on the moon. So if the moon is moving around us, you can see how some parts we can see and some parts we can't. We call that the phases of the moon, right? We see them at different sizes. So here's our text evidence question. You have this in your packet. How does the author organize the information about the moon on pages 6 and 7? How do they organize it? Meaning, do they put that in a sequential order? That kind of organization. Are we talking compare and contrast, things that are the same and things that are different? How is the author organizing it? Okay, talk about it with your family, with your mom, with your dad, whoever you're working on with this, and then write down your good, complete answer. A good answer would start with, the author organizes the information about the moon, and then you give your answer. So you use part of the question as part of your answer. All right, you can hit pause here and write in your answer and then continue. On a clear night, we may see stars in the sky. Stars are very hot. Stars glow because they make their own light. Stars seem small because they are very far away. Stars are much bigger than Earth. Ooh, think about that one. Stars are much bigger than Earth. And look at all those stars in the sky. Wow, think about that. Many stars fill the sky. We cannot easily count all the stars. That would be very difficult to do. Let's look at this caption for this picture. Stars are not scattered evenly in the sky. Yeah, they're not even. That means they're kind of all over the place. They're not spaced out. Think about it. Shooting stars are not really stars at all. Shooting stars are bits of rock that scientists call meteors. Why do you think they call them meteors or shooting stars? Most meteors glow for only a few seconds. Why do you think they call those shooting stars? Tell whoever you're reading this with. All right, here's our text evidence question, and you have this in your packet. How does the author organize the information about stars on page 8 and 9? How do you think they organize the information? Are they comparing them to something else? Are they using sequential order? Are they using chronological order, like in time? Okay, you can go ahead and pause it and write a good sentence. And you could say the author organizes the information about the stars by, and then place in what you think. Go ahead and pause it now and write. What can we see in the sky during the day? We often see the sun during the day. The sun is the nearest star to the Earth. Still, the sun is very far away. The sun is much bigger than Earth. Sometimes we see the moon in the sky during the day. The moon does not make its own light. The moon reflects light from the sun. Let's look at this first caption here. We get light and warmth from the sun. We do not get light or warmth from the moon. Description. Find the word far. The author uses this word to describe or give information about the sun. What other words does the author use to describe the sun? Oh, like the sun is far away. All right, you can see also what other word do they use? What other description word? All right, and here's our text evidence question. What text structure does the author use to organize the information about the sun on page 10? How do they organize it? In time order? In chronological, which is time order? In sequencing? In comparing? Compare and contrast? Go ahead and pause it and go ahead and write your answer for that. And make sure you start it with the text structure the author uses to organize the information about the sun is, and answer it that way. All right. Why do we have night and day? Like all planets, Earth rotates or spins. Have you ever been on a merry-go-round? A merry-go-round rotates. So here are some children on an old-fashioned merry-go-round. I used to go on those. And they spin around. Earth rotates once each day. So it would be like moving this around just one time. Is like the Earth going around the sun once a day. When the part of the Earth that we live on faces the sun, we have day. When the part of the Earth that we live on faces away from the sun, we have night. So that's why it'll be daytime where we live, which is right about over here. And on the other side of the Earth, it will be nighttime. It says here for our caption, we have night and day because Earth rotates. So the Earth rotates like this, spins around. And at the same time, it is also spinning around the sun. It's pretty amazing. This spinning around the sun is our seasons, and this spinning is our day and night. Earth takes almost 24 hours to make one complete spin. This is why one day on Earth is 24 hours long. So this spin is 24 hours. So it's night here, it's day here, but pretty soon this part will be over here and it'll be day here and night here. But at the same time, our Earth is going around and our seasons change. Let's look at the text evidence question. Text evidence question. How are the events on page 13 connected to each other? So the events, the things that happen on this page 13, how are they connected? How do they go together? How do they seem to fit together? Okay? And talk about that with who you're working on with this. And you're going to want to start at something like the events on page 13 connect to each other by, okay, and you're going to want to finish that one. All right, friends. I hope that helped you answer those questions. And I'll see you soon with another story. Bye-bye.